Good evening. Welcome to the Upper Gwynedd Board of Commissioners business meeting for February 16th, 2021. With that, we'll hand it over to Deanna Logan for our Pledge of Allegiance. If you would all stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Thank you. Now we'll call roll call. Deanna?
Liz McNaney, President.
Here.
Denise Hall, Vice President.
Here.
Martha Similaro, Commissioner.
Here.
Catherine Carter, Commissioner.
Here.
Ruth Damsker, Commissioner.
Ruth, hit the bottom of your screen, maybe the bottom left. Is that, I'm not sure.
It's
There
not
it is.
unmuted. Oh, yes, here.
Sandra Zadell, Township Manager.
Here.
Megan Weaver, Assistant Township Manager.
Here.
Lauren Gallagher, Township Solicitor.
Here.
Owen Hine, Township Engineer.
Here.
David Duffy, Chief of Police.
Here.
David Brill, Finance Director.
Here.
Van Reeker, Zoning Officer.
Here.
Everyone's here.
Thank you. With that, I'll hand it over to our solicitor for executive session announcement.
Thank you, President McNaney. The board has not met in executive session since the last meeting.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, item number 5 for public comments and concerns. Do we have anybody calling in this evening?
There's no public comment.
Okay, thank you. Moving right along. For item number 6, I'd like to turn it over to Commissioner Carter.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the commissioners of Upper Gwynedd Township, I'd like to acknowledge the 70th anniversary of our Upper Gwynedd Township Police Department. When I found out that it was their anniversary, Chief Duffy has sent me a video of everything, but I told him I remember when he gave us a tour of the police station when I first became a commissioner. And we walked around and he showed us all the old pictures of the police cars and the pictures of when they started, and I only started with one car. And I was telling him to, remember to put all those things in the video. And he said, oh yeah, we're going to do a good job. So when the video came out, I sent him an email that said, good afternoon, Chief Duffy and the Upper Gwynedd Police Department. There is a saying that a perfect marriage is just two imperfect people who refuse to give up on each other. Thank you to the Upper Gwynedd Police Department for 70 years of working together and refusing to give up, making our township a great place to live, work, and play. Congratulations on your 70th anniversary.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your kind words. Appreciate it.
And I believe we have a video.
Yep, we're going to play the video now. Erica, please.
My name is David Duffy. I'm the Chief of Police of Upper Gwynedd Township. The mission of the Upper Gwynedd Township Police Department is to perform police services in a highly professional and ethical manner in partnership with the community that we serve and to whom we are accountable. Our mission is carried out with our core values of dedication, integrity, fairness, and courage. This February 5th, we will be celebrating 70 years of service to our community. The police department started in February 5th, 1951 with 5 officers. Chief Ray Miley and officers William Gardner, Harry Eringer, Wayne Koffel, and Ben Carnes, who would become the second police chief and the longest serving to date. The police department covered Townsend Township until 1976, when they formed their own police department. And in the past 70 years, the Upper Gwynedd Police Department has provided 613,200 hours of service, including handling over 300,000 incidents and making over 4,000 arrests. As the Upper Gwynedd community grew over the years and changed, so did the police department. We're currently staffed with 22 full-time officers and 3 full-time civilian staff. We have a detective division, full-time crime prevention officer, and later this year we're starting a canine unit. Please enjoy the presentation, which I'd like to thank our public information officers, Sergeant Steve Gillen, Susan McKnight, and also Angelina Capozzi from the Park and Rec Department in putting together some of our history. Thank you.
Through the normal course of policing, we meet people at some of the most challenging and stressful times in their lives. Many of those we serve choose to send letters expressing their appreciation to our officers. Playing in the background of the presentation is just a small sampling of some of our recent letters. We very much appreciate those who take the time to write and support our efforts on their behalf.
Dear officers, my dad suffered a heart attack at my parents' residence. I'm writing to commend the outstanding response and service performed by your officers. My mother called 911 immediately after my dad had difficulty breathing. Within minutes, the officers arrived and immediately began life-saving measures. Working as a team, they continued to reassure my mom that additional life-saving personnel were also responding. Your officers represented the department and law enforcement in an outstanding manner. Please convey our gratitude.
Dear Chief, in May, I was involved in a motor vehicle accident on my way home from work at the intersection. Needless to say, it was not the afternoon I imagined for myself. It is the gratitude that I write to you today. At the scene of the accident, the officers made a very uncertain situation feel safe and controlled. They handled the scene with precision and authority while remaining compassionate and patient.
Dear Santa and his elves, it's me, John, again. No, I'm not writing about my Christmas wish again. I'm writing to you guys wanting to thank you for your caring hearts towards me. The kind police showed up at my door yesterday telling me how you guys got my letter and were worried about me, wanting to make sure I would still be around for Christmas. I wanted to say thank you for how much you cared about me, and it made me really think about how there's still good people out in this world that have genuine love and care for one another. I wish to one day meet all of you and shake your hands, or even give you a big hug to show you my gratitude.
Dear officers, I wanted to say thank you on behalf of my sister and I for your help last Friday. You exhibited a blend of professionalism and compassion that is seldomly seen these days. Thank you for helping make a difficult situation a bit more tolerable. Please stay well and be safe. We need more people like you.
Dear officer, I wanted to extend our family's gratitude to the officer that responded when my mother was alone and did not know how to react when our family's dog became unresponsive. The officer followed up later in the evening on our dog's status and went above and beyond while responding to the call for service.
Dear Upper Gwynedd Township Police Department, I am writing to acknowledge the outstanding service and extraordinary conduct of your police officers surrounding the incident this past July involving an employee. Your team responded quick, professionally, and compassionately. They showed a keen understanding of the situation and likely issues involved. They responded with not only the correct knowledge on how to handle the situation, but they also responded in a way that showed compassion and understanding for all individuals involved. 613,200 hours. 25,550 days. 3,650 weeks. 839.9 months. 70 years of service. The women and men of Upper Gwynedd Police Department sincerely thank everyone for their commitment over the past 70 years. We hope you enjoyed it.
That was really nice. I enjoyed that, and I hope everybody, Buddy did too. I don't hear, but I see a lot of clapping going on. So that was a great presentation. I won't make any hair jokes, Chief Duffy.
Make it so you want. It's okay.
Thank you for sharing that with us. And we'll keep it with you, Chief, for item number 7, which is the recognition of Jonathan Kelsey for 20 years.
Yes, thank you very much. So in his first 10 years, Detective Kelsey was in patrol. He served as a traffic safety officer, eventually turning that over to Officer Pro, who's been doing a really good job with it since then. He served as a field training officer while he was in patrol. And in his last 10 years in detectives, he's a member of the County Drug Task Force. He helps Julie Murphy with our uniform crime reporting, which is no simple task to get right in terms of how everything's classified and cleared and everything else. And he is still a member and puts his uniform on for regular patrol sometimes and also on our bicycle unit. So we're very happy to have him for the past 20 years and look forward to several more.
Thank you, Chief Duffy. And yes, we certainly look forward to 20 more with him. Thank you for that. Commissioner Carter, did you want to add anything to any of the two police items we just covered?
I was just going to my continued congratulations for the 70 years and for the officer for 20 years. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So moving right along, next on the agenda is item number 8, which is the consent items. We will need a motion to approve items A through J, and we will need a roll call vote with them. So do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
We have a motion. We have a second. Deanna?
Sorry, President McNaney,
Aye.
Vice President Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner Carter,
Aye.
Commissioner Similaro,
Aye.
Commissioner Damsker.
Aye.
The ayes so have it. Was there any public comment, I'm sorry, before, on any of these items? I'm sorry, before we voted.
There's no public comment.
Okay, and no more additional board comment, I'm assuming. Thank you. Next on the agenda, item number 9, motion to appoint Ginger Jarrett as to the North Wales Area Library Board of Directors. Since North Wales Library is our library, we get to appoint 2 board members. So the library has recommended Ginger Garrett. So do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
A second.
We have a second. Is there any public comments on this?
No public comment.
Thank you. Any additional board comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? The ayes so have it. Next on the agenda, item number 10, a motion to appoint Duncan Reed and Deborah Stone with terms ending December 31st, 2023. Janki Patel and Jessica Curran with initial terms ending December 31st, 2022. And Ray Colbetta, did I say that right? With an initial term ending December 31st, 2021 to our newly formed Human Relations Commission. We had asked for resumes for this new board, which we received. Commissioners Damsker and Carter did the interviewing, and we decided on these 4 residents to fill that board. Ruth or Commissioner Carter, did you have anything additional with any of these names before we approve or appoint?
Appoint. No, I'm just very excited that we instituted this particular Human Relations Commission, and I'm really looking forward to having them participate in community events and doing some really innovative, exciting things.
Thank
I
you.
concur. It was very exciting to meet everyone, and I can't wait to get started.
And with that, I lost my agenda. Great. Thank you so much. So do we have a motion to appoint?
So moved.
We have a motion by Commissioner Damsker and a second by Commissioner Carter?
Correct.
Correct.
We
Is there any public comment?
No public comment.
Any additional board comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes so have it. Moving along to items number 11 through 15, I will turn it over to Commissioner Hull.
Thank you. First up, we have Merck. Tonight, we are talking about the preliminary and final land development plan for Merck Building 50. And I believe we have a presentation from Merck.
Yes, that is correct. go. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Hi, my name is Greg Landis, and I represent Merck from Independent Product Services. And with me tonight is Tom Alvarez from Merck Global Operations and Mike Fisher from High Sports. Topic of our presentation is the new Building 50 manufacturing facility that we're going to be requesting approval tonight. So next slide. We're going to start you off in the blimp overlooking the property. As you can see, the orange square that's directly across from where our entrance comes in at Sullivan Drive off of South Broad Street. That's going to be the project location. Next slide. Moving in a little bit closer, you can see that we are now inside the site, and the dark orange areas there actually are two. One is a building slightly to the north that's underway. That's a freezer facility. And our facility that we're talking about tonight is the lower one on the map. Next slide. So this gives you a shot of how the area is going to be developed. As I said, we have an existing building to the north that's already underway with footers. We recently had our meeting with the township on that. And the new one is going to be a manufacturing facility tonight. I'll get into the details in a few moments. Next slide. This is the view of the building. This is west looking east. It will be a 3-story structure with some loading docks. We've added some site parking along here. And if you go to the next slide, you'll see some of the details. The building will have a footprint of about 34,300 square feet and will top out at a little over 100,000 square feet in total. The exterior will be insulated metal clad that matches one of our more recent starts a little bit next to us. And then there will be a 3-floor setup, first floor being a loading dock, cold storage, and mechanical. Second floor is where the actual production will take place. It's a lyophilization area, which is freeze drying, like Folgers coffee. And then a clean room filling of vials. And then the third floor will be office area and mechanical. Building is closest to Garfield Avenue of 1,000 feet. It's 2,000 feet off of South Broad Street. So we're well into the site and well away from everybody else. We do have an NPDES permit that is required. That request is in progress, and it's the one last thing that we need to finish. In talking with Isaac, he knows that that's coming once we get that approved. And Merck will be requesting 8 waivers, and we have those listed on the slide as we move through this. Any questions so far? I apologize, I'm moving quickly.
Yeah, hi, it's Ruth. I was just wondering, since you're adding, are you going to be hiring additional employees as a result of this?
That's a good question, Ruth. The building is going to house about 184 employees on a 3-shift basis. Many of those employees will be coming from other areas of the site, moving into the new facility that opens up other areas to do renovations in those spaces. So the net head count will stay pretty close to where it is. It may go up 10 or 20, but for the most part, that will fill the building on a 3-shift basis.
Thank you.
Okay, this is a shot of the record plan that we will be recording. It does list the waivers. It lists the parking. We will be adding 9 parking spaces on the site, and it does list all of the stormwater information that we normally have on the following drawings. This is consistent with how we would record a plan similar to other buildings we've recently done. Next slide. Status of activities to date. We met with the Planning Commission on December 9th. We did receive comments from the Montgomery County Planning Commission. We did address those comments. The NPDES permit is underway. As I said, we're in the area where we're responding to their comments, and we've got them going in next Monday. And usually after that, it's a week to 2 till it's approved, and that's in progress. Our site final drawing set and all comment responses The post-construction stormwater plan were all submitted to RVE on February 2nd. And I do have a letter from them indicating that all engineering items have been satisfied. The stormwater best management practices and operations and maintenance agreement and plan that we finished up dated December 21st has been signed and is getting ready to be recorded with the county. I believe it's next on the agenda. So we have completed that work as well. Next slide. As far as responses to comments, we received none from the fire marshal. We received none from the EEMA for sanitary sewer. The Environmental Advisory Council gave us 2 comments related to native planting and moving plantings off utility mains, which we satisfied. We did both of those. We did address 30 of the subdivision and land development comments for RVE. And we did have an error on our initial submission that I corrected with Montgomery County, and they sent me an email back indicating that it was satisfied and correct. And the next page, if we go to the next slide, are the waiver requests. If you'd like me to read them, I can, or you can accept the fact that these match up what's on the record plan and are consistent with what we've discussed with RVE. And next slide. And with that, we believe we have satisfied all the requirements, and barring any other questions that I may answer, we would ask kindly for your approval.
Can you go back to the previous slide?
Sure.
Thank you.
Just for everyone, this is Sandra, the township manager speaking. All of these waivers are also listed in the approval resolution.
Could maybe Owen go through all of the waiver requests? Just make sure we're all clear on all of them, all 8 of them.
Sure, I'd be happy to.
Thanks.
So the first waiver request is from section 168-13B to submit a combination preliminary and final plan at one time. So really it's just a relief to not go through a preliminary approval process and then a final plan process, approval process, to do it all at once. Waiver request number 2 is from section 168-6C1C to not provide utility and man-made features information within 100 feet of the property line. Really, this waiver comes down to, is this necessary for this plan? And I think, as you saw in the presentation, this development work is well within the property, within the site. So, to show existing conditions, for areas that are well away from the project may not be necessary. The third waiver request is from section 168-11B2B to not provide a performance guarantee. So, this is just kind of going on the assumption that Merck is going to perform this work and complete the work per plan. Waiver request number 4 is from section 168-11B2C to not provide a maintenance guarantee. Again, Merck is going to be ultimately responsible for the maintenance of all of these improvements. Waiver request number 5, section 168-14A, to allow final plan approval without performance and maintenance guarantees. This follows kind of the same logic as waiver request 3 and 4. Waiver request 6 from section 162-12B1 to allow 12-inch and 15-inch stormwater conveyance pipes. So these are smaller storm sewer pipes than are typically allowed by ordinance, but they have provided stormwater management calculations showing that the sizes that are going to use do convey the storms that they need to convey. And also they are entering into stormwater management O&M agreements. So they're going to be maintaining these. So again, we don't have any concerns with this waiver. Waiver request number 7 from section 162-17 to not sign an operations and maintenance agreement with the township. As I understand it, there's a standing agreement. Would the applicant chime in on that? I'm not as familiar with Merck as others may be.
Yes, we just completed that and have it as part of, I believe, tonight's agenda. So that is done, has been reviewed, and has been signed by both parties, and is getting ready to be recorded at the courthouse.
Excellent. And waiver request number 8 is similar, section 162-19, to not record an operations and maintenance agreement with the county. And as Mr. Landis just mentioned, this is in effect being taken care of and going to be reported. That's the full list.
Thank you, Owen. So I have two other questions that I just need clarification for, just because I'm not as well versed in all of the language. The first one is, it's on page 32 in our packet. The County Planning Commission had referred to the tank screening. Their note was, it appears that there may be storage tanks labeled B, A, P, N, N, and N with circles around them. If the tanks would be visible from the proposed building, we recommend mitigating the view of them from the building with a year-round landscaping screen. And then the response from Merck's engineer was that Building 50 is located in an industrial area of the facility. The storage tanks N, liquid nitrogen, PH, pharmaceutical nitrogen, A, argon, and B, brine, are all products required for use by the building occupants and not considered to be visually intrusive. So my question is just that, is Merck saying in this response that we will not be able to see those tanks from outside the campus? Like, they really are so buried within the industrial complex? Because I can understand that you're saying that we need to label them as to what they are, as to what their job is, as to what they're housing, and they need to have those labels on them, and that's fine. And you're also saying that it's in a very industrial area, so it's very well hidden within there and very appropriate up close in that environment. So my question is just, are you saying it therefore has to be that way, or are you saying it has to be that way and also you really can't see it from the neighborhood?
To answer your question, yes, it has to be that way based on the layout of the property there. Number two, you're going to be 2,000 feet away from where those tanks are inside the site, which will be covered by fences, by the link of the garage, so you won't be able to see them from the roadway. And number three, that is the standard installation for how we have them all around the property. In fact, if you drive down Sunnytown Pike and look into the right, you'll see some of those tanks sticking up in the front part of the site already.
Okay.
So they're not large tanks, but they to try and screen them, it takes away from how the area is laid out and would be difficult to do.
Okay. Okay. And but you're also saying it's not going to be such a visual eyesore from the neighborhood as well.
Correct.
So it's not that relevant of an issue on top of that. Okay, that's fine. And then the other question that I had was, and maybe I just need a better translation because I think I misunderstood what the EAC was saying. So the first request that they made was for the using native plants instead of the non-native plants, and don't use any invasive species. And you said, great, yep, going to do that. Great idea. We're going to definitely implement that. And then the second request of the AAC was to consider more sustainable pervious landscaping features where practicable in conjunction with stormwater on the site instead of the turf features. So maybe you could translate that for me, Owen. What is that asking for exactly in very layman's terms?
So sustainable features could include a lot of different things. It could include just water quality features that help, treat water quality. It could include, pervious pavers. It could include, there are many different greening of spaces that could otherwise be hardscaped. There are a lot of different features that could be used to kind of meet that requirement. It's kind of an ideal as opposed to a hard and fast requirement.
Okay. And so then, native plantings proposed where space allowed has been relocated off of proposed utility mains. So what does that mean? And is that's meeting that request?
So that is a specific requirement, and it's certainly we don't want plantings that are going to grow down or on top of a utility that's going to be installed. And we don't want to see, a planting that might get in the way of maintenance of an underground utility as well. So that is something that they do need to address, and I believe they have. Okay.
But is that directly related to the request that the EAC made, or is that just a separate thing?
I believe it's separate.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, and absolutely, the EAC is just giving suggestions for land developers to consider and to incorporate where they can. So that's absolutely understandable. I just was confused because I thought maybe I didn't understand what the EAC was asking for when I saw Merck's response to it. That's all. That's why I just need the clarification. I don't have any other questions. Do any other board members have any other questions? Okay. I can't see everybody, so I'm going to assume that that's a no.
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Okay, great. Okay, so everything is in order. Sorry, my computer. Just to get back to my main page. Okay, so we have everything in order. We have the approval from our planning commission, as well as the comments from the county planning commission. We have the approval from our engineers, from RVE and EMA, as well as our fire marshal. We also had the comments, the suggestions from the EAC that were taken into account, and one of them is being applied. And we have all of the Merck's final plans as well as their presentation. Everything seems to be in order and thorough. And with that being said, I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 04-2020 preliminary/final land development plan for Merck Building 50, subject to the conditions set forth in the resolution.
So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
So
Second.
moved.
We have a second. Is there any public comment on this?
No public comment.
Thank you. Any additional board comment?
Mhm.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? The ayes so have it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Merck.
Thank you.
Moving right along, speaking of Merck, they have prepared a master stormwater best management practices, maintenance and operations plan. So this is a stormwater plan which they have been working on for their whole organization, which will be evaluated in accordance with all future Merck land development. So this has been quite an endeavor that they've been working on and working with us. This has been reviewed as well as approved by our township staff, solicitor, and engineer. And it was actually referenced in the plan that Greg was just talking about. So with that being said, I would like to make a motion to approve the Merck Stormwater Best Management Practices, Operations and Maintenance Agreement.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Is there any public comment?
No public comment.
Any additional board comment?
I
Hearing
just
none-
I have one question.
Yep.
If I may. The O&M agreement, does that get reviewed on a yearly basis or on some kind of a continuing basis to ensure that it's current and up to date?
I
Yeah,
would
so the
assume,
way to,
Sandra, or is that Lauren? Sorry.
either way, the way that we have it drafted is that anytime that they have a new project come in, they're going to have to certify that it continues to comply with all the stormwater and that they're not exceeding any of their limitations. And if they make any changes to the existing stormwater facilities, they're going to have to revise their plans and submit a new agreement for recording.
Okay,
There's
and if
controls
we,
anytime they come in.
and if we as a township change something, do we automatically then notify Merck about this?
If we change something to our stormwater management ordinance,
Yes, yeah.
so typically, any of those major changes, I believe the township just did a major overhaul within the last few years.
Mhm.
But typically those are prospective changes and not retroactive changes. If they are retroactive, then Merck would have to comply like any other property.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Was there anything else before we take a vote? No? Okay, so all in favor for item number 12?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes so have it.
Okay, number 13. So the owner of 804 Keating Drive wanted to put up a fence, and so they applied for a permit. And when the township reviewed the permit, they realized that the fence would be crossing over an easement. Now, an easement is an area of the township which we typically don't allow fences. It's an area that we reserve the right to have access. So usually we reserve these areas so that we can do maintenance underground. But when they looked at it further, when they further reviewed that easement, they realized that that easement was no longer accessible to them, and it was no longer helpful in maintenance for that cul-de-sac. So basically, we are releasing that easement because we no longer need to reserve that space, and thus the owner of 804 Keating Drive can get the permit and put up the fence. And we call that a deed of abandonment when we get rid of an easement. So I am going to make a motion to approve the deed of abandonment for 804 Keating Drive.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Is there any public comment?
No public comment for this one. Someone just came in for a previous Merck one. We're going to get him in a minute.
Okay, thank you. Any additional board comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think
Opposed?
there's going to be a question, I believe.
Well, not on this one, Ruth, another one.
Oh, okay.
The ayes still have it. So let's just pause for a minute at number 14. We'll continue with number 14. But we have a caller for one of the Merck items.
Michael's here in the room.
Okay.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, if you could just state your name and your address for the record,
Right.
please.
Michael Felmuth, 112 Cardinal Way. And my question, I tried to get in with at the Merck presentation. My question is, with the development of this new building and those tanks of gas, will there be increased train traffic on the CSX line?
Sandra, do you know? I don't think we have our.
We don't have that information, and without Merck to be present to answer it now, I think it would be difficult. But Mr. Felmuth, you can give me a call at the office, and I'll follow up with you with Merck and answer that question for you.
Should I shoot you an email?
Yeah, that'd be great, and then I'll get you the answer from Merck. I think the answer is probably no, but I can't really speak for them, so I'd rather check with them directly and get back to you.
Okay, because I know there are, I don't know how many houses are along that rail line before Merck, but it's a good number, and I've heard some issues before in the past about the train traffic, but so that was just the question I had.
Thank you, Mike, for your question, and Sandra will follow up. And Sandra, if you could let the board know too what the answer to Mike's question, we'd appreciate that. All right. Moving right along. Item number 14, Commissioner Hull.
Thank you. Item number 14. So the owner of 814 Ridgeview Drive would also like a permit to install a fence. And when we reviewed that permit, we realized that the proposed fence would also be crossing over an easement. However, we still need that easement. That easement is still in play. So what this is this is an agreement between the applicant and the township. The applicant has agreed to minimize basically the amount of space over the easement that they need for their fence. And this is that agreement which lays it all out, the whole plan. So I am going to make a motion to approve the encroachment onto storm sewer easement for 814 Ridgeview Drive.
So we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
A second.
We have a second. I believe that was Commissioner Carter. For the second, is there any public comment?
No public comment.
Thank you. Any additional board comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes so have it.
And then number 15, the owners of 1231 Dickerson Road are building a single family home, and they have a driveway and a grading permit. And they also need an operations and management and O&M stormwater agreement. And this agreement basically, it's between the township and it's between the property owner. And it basically gives the township permission to enter the facilities, to inspect when they need. And it also ensures that this owner will adequately operate and maintain these stormwater facilities. So with that being said, I'd like to make a motion to approve the Stormwater Best Management Practices Operations and Maintenance Agreement for 1231 Dickerson Road.
So we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Are there any public comments?
There's no public comment.
Thank you. Any additional board comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes so have it. Thank you, Commissioner Hall. Moving right along, I'd like to turn it over to Commissioner Carter for item number 16.
Hello, we have a motion to approve the volunteer tax credits for the fire department. Just to give you some background, the township issued ordinance number 2018-006 on June 25th of 2018, providing an annual earned income tax and real estate tax credits to active volunteers of the Upper Gwynedd Township Fire Department and the Volunteer Medical Service Corps of Lansdale. The ordinance requires the member to complete and apply to the respective chief. The chief then reviews and affirms each application using a point system to measure participation and forwards the applications to the township for submission to the board for review and approval. This year's applications are included in the board commissioner packet. This year's credits are for the 2020 EIT, up to 1,000 for the township, and 2021, 20% of the township RA. There's no budget impact to the 2021 budget. And the recommended motion to approve the submitted and affirmed active volunteer tax credit applications. So with that, I ask a motion to approve the volunteer tax credits for the fire department.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Is there any public comment on this?
No public comment.
Thank you. Any additional board comment? I'd just like to thank Dave. Dave Brill. Hi, Dave Brill. Thanks for your help with this. And also to Chief Geiger too, because he had to check everything out too. So they both worked hard on this. So thank you to both of them. So with that, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes so have it. Thank you, Commissioner Carter. Moving right along, Commissioner Damsker for the next couple items.
Right, okay. I have, before I make the motion, I'm going to turn it over to Owen, to our township engineer, to share with if there's anybody on there besides our commissioners, ourselves, the community, that the North Wales Road Trailhead and crossing that, and then I'll pass the motion after he describes to us. Thank you, Owen.
Yeah, thank you. So of course, the Wissahickon Trail is getting a lot of use, and especially these days with everybody trying to get outside once the snow melts, especially. And so there's been a big uptick in usage. Township staff and I think residents have kind of seen a lot of benefit there, but also seen some headaches that have popped up, including some cars parking along North Wales Road and also pedestrians, trail users trying to cross North Wales Road. So what to do about it? The township is actively taking some steps to increase safety along North Wales Road, going for a new crosswalk, a flasher signal that'll provide safe crossing there, also providing new ADA curb ramps, things like that. So the township is already taking some positive steps, but not done yet. So what's being looked into now is potentially adding a new trailhead. So in order to try to move some of that parking from off along North Wales Road, there's an area that's controlled by Wissahickon Trails that potentially could house a new trailhead. So the township is reaching out to Wissahickon Trails to talk to them about kind of partnering in this. But tonight there's a grant application available, and the township's considering making an application. Basically, it's about $100,000 worth of work. The township, or there's about 20% match at about $20,000 worth of work that needs to be funded, as long as we're successful with the grant application. And ultimately what this would provide, if we're successful, is 7 new parking spaces in a trailhead area, 2 of which are ADA accessible. And the trailhead area would be made of a permeable pavement system. So this falls right into that sustainable type infrastructure that came up earlier in tonight's meeting. So A lot of boxes are checked with this application, good funding source through the county, and a good project if we can get in that a lot of people will benefit from.
Thank you. Okay, so I would therefore like to make a motion to approve resolution 05-2021 for the North Wales Road Trailhead and Crossing.
So we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
A second.
We have a second. Is there any public comment?
No public comment.
Thank you. Any additional board comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes so have it.
And then I have a second motion about appointing a consultant for the Liberty Bell Trail feasibility study. And I don't know whether, Owen, if you wanted to add anything before I make
Nothing to
a
add from
motion.
my end on this one.
Pardon me?
This
Nothing.
would be under, yeah.
Oh, nothing to add.
Owen.
Okay. All right. So I would like to make a motion to appoint Michael Baker, Inc. as a consultant for the Liberty Bell Trail feasibility study.
So we have a motion to approve, to appoint Michael Baker as consultant for the Liberty Bell Trail. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second. Any public comment?
No public comment.
Thank you. Any additional board comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes so have it.
All right. That's it for me.
Thank you, Commissioner Dempsker. I think we're all gonna, I think if Erica tells us that we do have a comment sometime, we're all gonna be like, yay! Right along.
How true.
Turning it over to Commissioner Similaro for items 19 through 23.
Thank you. The first motion we have is to approve the advertisement of the bid for sludge hauling. This will be a 2-year contract. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the advertisement for the bid.
So we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Oh, we have a second. Any public comment?
There's no public comment.
Nobody wants to comment on sludge hauling?
I was going to say, not too exciting.
Oh, that, well, excuse me, Ruth, it's exciting for some of us, okay?
I guess that's true. Sorry, Martha.
Any additional board comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes so have it.
Okay, the next motion we have is to approve the ratification of the advertisement of the bid for the return activated sludge pumps at the wastewater treatment plant. This happened when we had the Isaiah, the tropical storm back in the summer, and we had to get RAS pumps in, and so we're replacing the RAS pumps. So this is the motion to approve the ratification of the advertisement.
So we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second. Any public comment?
No public comment.
Thank you. Any additional board comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes so have it.
So the next motion is to approve the bid for the return activated sludge pumps at the waste to Durstein Company LLC in the amount of $85,000. The $85,000, that cost will be submitted to our insurance company since it was part of the tropical storm back in the summer.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the bid. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Do we have any public comment?
No public comment.
Any additional board comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes so have it.
The next motion is to approve resolution 03-2021, affirming and approving emergency plan. This was for an incident that happened on Christmas Eve, where there was some kind of an incident and the transformers and transfer switches blew. So they obviously have to be, the electrical has to be replaced. And there will be no budget impact since there was our manager at the plant is putting off a project that she was going to do this year until next year, so it will come out of that. And I believe the cost, I don't have the final cost. I think the cost was not to exceed 65,000, I believe, Sandra.
Yes, I think you're correct.
Yeah. Okay. So that will be taken. So there is no budgetary impact. So I'm going to make that motion.
So we have a motion to approve. We have a second. Any public comment?
No public comment.
Thank you. Any
Okay.
additional board comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes still have it.
So the next motion is to approve resolution 06-2021, affirming and approving emergency procurement at the wastewater treatment plant related to Tropical Storm Isaiah. The cost of this will also be submitted to our insurance company. Hopefully they'll cover that. So I'd like to make that motion for some additional electrical equipment due to the storm.
So we have a motion to approve resolution 06-2021. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second. Any public comment?
No public comment.
Thank you. Any additional board comment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes so have it.
Excuse me, President McNaney.
Yes.
I got an answer from Merck via email for Mr. Felmuth's question.
Wow.
Figured I would answer it while we have a moment, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, I figured for the board and for Mr. Felmuth, who may still be listening. Merck commented that they don't use the rail system related to anything related to the West Point site. The rail line is back up to the R5 and used by Contrail for freight to the north and west. Merck fully utilizes truck traffic for all materials in and out of the site. And back in the 1950s, there was a rail spur entering the site, but it was removed about 40 years ago. So that was a very comprehensive answer to that question.
Yeah. Got history there.
Yeah. All right. I don't know if Mr. Felmuth is still with us, but we'll get back to him with that answer. Thank you, Sandra, for that. Interesting. All right. Moving right along. Item number under other business, item number 24 is a motion to approve 2021 open invoices. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
A second.
We have a second. Any public comment or additional board comment?
There's no public comment.
Thank you. So we'll need a roll call.
President McNaney,
Aye.
Vice President Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner Carter,
Aye.
Commissioner Damsker,
Aye.
Commissioner Similaro,
Aye.
The ayes so have it. Next on the agenda is, thank you, Deanna, is item number 25. It's a motion to approve the February 2021 paid invoices. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make
So
a motion
moved.
to approve.
We have a motion by Commissioner Hull, seconded by Commissioner Damsker, or Carter. Commissioner Carter, I think, had that one. Is there any additional public comment or board comment?
There's no public comment.
Thank you, board. No. We'll need a roll call vote on this one as well. Deanna?
President McNaney,
Aye.
Vice President Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner Carter,
Aye.
Commissioner Similaro,
Aye.
Commissioner Damsker.
Aye.
Thank you, Deanna. The ayes so have it. Before we close out for tonight, I know I just wanted to say one quick thing, and maybe some of you who were listening in on the call earlier in the week heard as well. Vaccine for COVID-19. We've had meetings where we've listened to Senator Maria Collette and Liz Hanbidge on what they're doing. I believe they're both actively working to try to get the vaccine, the distribution in the state of Pennsylvania, much more organized and better. One of our organizations that we belong to has a website called vaccinatepa.org. And if you can go to that website, click on Montgomery County, and you can actually find locations that are taking appointments, but you can't register there. So I thought that was a little helpful, since a lot of people are wondering how to go about and get, find the vaccines, where to get them, how, when, and of course we recommend you register with the county. But I thought this website was good because as I said, it does say who's taking appointments and who has them. And then you can just go there and sign up, because I know that's on a lot of people's mind nowadays. That's all I had with that. Did any other commissioners have anything else they wanted to add?
I just wanted to mention, I've talked to a couple of people in my community here, and several of them have gotten, have been able to register and get appointments at Rite Aid.
Yeah, Rite Aid's, and also a lot of people have told me, and even Maria's office, her staff there, as mentioned, St. Luke's has.
In Allentown.
Yep, and there's a few others, but Rite Aid is one, St. Luke's, and there's others. But this vaccinatepa.org is a helpful tool for residents if they need it. Any other comments, board? No?
I have one comment, President McNaney. I know we talked about it a lot at the work session meeting, but I just wanted to publicly thank our Public Works Department for their work on the roads that seems endless these last couple of weeks. They were out salting again over this weekend, whether or not they're plowing, they're still. Willard Troxel, our director, has to keep almost a constant watch on the weather. And I just wanted to say I appreciate all of the work of those employees that work to keep our roads clear and have done such a great job.
Yes, they have. They have done a great job.
Absolutely. And like the work session, we won't mention the S word again because it might happen later in the week. So we won't mention.
And that S word, not salt. We have lots of salt. I want to report. We got a lot of loads in. Willard had to come in to take delivery yesterday because we got eight loads apparently.
Wow.
So we're all set for salt.
All right. That's a good S word, not the other one. So with that, if nobody has anything else, I'd like to adjourn tonight's meeting. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks. Good night. Now we have